Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the very first podcast of The Coach's Kid. I'm your host, MJ Rabick, and we're just going to dive in today. In this podcast, what we're going to do is we're going to touch on anything health and fitness related, sports and sports performance, and just overall, in general, life. And we're going to be touching on a lot of different topics in here. The topics are going to be very flexible. We're going to have lots of great guests on here. Today is just going to be me giving you a little background of myself and the coach's kid and what my journey has looked like up to this point, as far as my health and fitness, and even with my business, as I look to grow that. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm sure you're probably wondering a little bit about myself and how I got into this fitness space and the fitness journey. Um, I guess you could say that, moving my body and health and fitness has always been a big part of my life, going back to, elementary. And I'm from a small town, Syracuse, Nebraska. Shout out Cuse, go Rockets. And, in small towns like that, you are always participating in sports year round. So I was always involved in a sport, uh, and I was the coach's kid. So my dad was mainly a basketball coach growing up. He was my basketball coach, and so I would always be attending his practices, and I've always just been surrounded by sports, athletics, and that would involve, the weight room and moving your body as far as that goes too. So going into high school, I participated in a lot of the typical sports a lot of high schoolers participated in, which we got football, basketball, which is my first love, and track and field, not my first love. So I'm going to be straight up honest about that. And I'll have some good stories about that as well. And then in the summertime, Legion baseball, which I did enjoy that quite a bit. But again, basketball was my first love. So moving on from high school, I was lucky enough to play 4 years of college basketball at Nebraska Wesleyan University, which is a Division III school in Lincoln, and met a lot of great people there, and had awesome experiences. Obviously, I stuck it out all 4 years, so it was a great experience for me. And obviously, when you're in a college sport and athletics, you're going to be doing it as a job. So year-round training, things like that, and definitely my nutrition was not on point in college. And you're obviously moving your body, and we'll have some good stories about the old college days too. But definitely health and fitness were not a priority then, like they are now. Looking back, do I wish I maybe would have taken that a little bit more seriously? Absolutely. But I wouldn't change anything for the world, and all the experiences that I got from there. Moving on to then, I went down to Arizona for 10 years. I was a teacher and a coach down in Arizona, and kind of how my fitness journey kind of evolved from there is I had a buddy that I moved down there with. His name's Mitch. And probably for the first 5 years or so, every once in a while we'd jog or we'd do something, but nothing real serious. We'd pop into a gym every now and again, hop on the treadmill, maybe do some weights that we remember from back in high school or something like that. But really, that was about it. Nothing nutritionally at all. But then I want to say it was around 2010 or so. I'll have to confirm with Mitch, but he actually went in and was a part owner of a CrossFit gym down in our area of Arizona. And so, that really got us interested I guess if you kind of rewind before that, there was the tribe, the local tribe, was offering free CrossFit classes, and myself and Mitch and another buddy, Josh, which funny story, Mitch is the owner now of Heatwave CrossFit in Bullhead City, Arizona, or Fort Mojave, Arizona. And Josh is the owner of Sturgis CrossFit in Sturgis, South Dakota. They actually started going first and then talked me into going. And we just fell in love with fitness, is what happened. So from then on, we were working out, 3 to 5 days a week, very religiously. And I would say that's when the health journey really started for myself. Um, but the nutrition was still garbage. It was trash. I didn't actually focus on that until my move to South Dakota. So when I moved to South Dakota, I met my beautiful wife, Emily, and we got married in Vegas, and we moved to her hometown in Britton, South Dakota. And I decided, that fitness was always going to be part of my life. So what I had done is slowly kind of piecing together gym equipment, and I went ahead and insulated the garage, got a heater, put up a TV in there, got a rig, had the local Hutterite colony come and help me put that thing up. And my brother-in-law, he was a big factor in that as well too. And I just started working out by myself at first, and then friends and family started working out with me as well. Um, and then from there, that kind of gets me going into kind of how my business started. It got to a point where kind of word spread around our community that, hey, there's this crazy guy that's working out of his garage, and turns out he likes to work out with other people. And so people kind of started getting a hold of me and saying, hey, MJ, can we come over and work out with you? And I said, sure. And so I had my garage matted from, uh, wall to wall in there. So people would come in. It actually looked like a gym. But it got to a point where there was so many people that I had to actually start sitting out of the workouts. So I would sit out of the workouts and I would just start coaching classes is really what happened. And to a point where I kind of thought in the back of my head, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and charge these guys. And I actually started charging, something very, very small, like $20 a month or something like that. And then started, getting educated myself in the health and fitness industry. And then all of a sudden, fast forward a couple of years, COVID hit, that now we're into 2020. And at that time, I was a teacher and a coach here at our local elementary school and high school. And what I was doing out of my garage was just kind of a side gig. And during COVID, um, my brother-in-law had contacted me and said that, hey, we could do this in the back of my shop. He has a shop just outside of our hometown. And I said, sure, let's do it. So what we decided to do, that was our COVID project. I had my mom come up and paint some cool designs on the wall. So shout out, Mom. Thank you. And we just kind of started transferring all of the equipment that I had stashed in my garage into this gym space in the back of my brother-in-law's shop. So we got moved into the new location. We have, tons more room. And we were just doing morning classes. We had tried to do night classes, but attendance really wasn't that great. So we just kept it at morning classes, and we're still just at morning classes. But it got to a point that I knew that our town is about 12 to 1,300 people in capacity. And I knew that the business could only grow so much. There was only so many people that you can actually pull from in a small community like that. And so my business kind of pivoted from that point moving forward. and I invested in a coach myself. So that tells you how much I believe in having a coach. Is I'm a coach and I need a coach. So I invested in a coach, and they from NLCA, and they are teaching me. I'm still enrolled, and they're teaching me how to build an online fitness company. And so uh, the thought process behind that is, I can reach more people that way. So if there is somebody that is on the East Coast, or if there's somebody on the West Coast, doesn't matter where they are, I can still help them. And the goal and the mission of Cold Front Coaching Company is to reach as many people as we possibly can and help as many people as we possibly can, because that's what I'm passionate about, and that's what I love. So that is kind of the background of the business and where we are today. Um, and there were lots of challenges that came along with that, and uh, I think when I finally decided to go all in, I was always doing it as a side business. My teaching job was always my number one, and this was my number two. And to be quite honest, my wife is also a teacher, and a two-teacher household in the state of South Dakota uh, has its challenges. And I think the biggest thing for myself that I had to overcome was, hey, look, MJ, you're the man of the house, and you need to do more. And I always felt, whether it's right or wrong, you always have this feeling of, you need to do more for your family. You need to do more for your family. You need to do this. Yes, totally believe that we should love what we do, but at the same time, I didn't want to do that in the expense of my family and giving them the things that they deserve. Uh, so these are some of the challenges that I faced when doing this. When I first decided to go all in, there was that fear of failure. I think whenever you dive into something new, you're always thinking about the what ifs. Okay, well, what if this happens? Or what if I fail? Or what if it doesn't work out? And what I've found out in this journey is, inaction, if you're not going to take action on something, that's where anxiety lies. Okay. So if you want to overcome those anxieties and those things that you're thinking about, you need to take action. And that can be across all areas of life. Inaction will and can equal anxiety, at least in my case. So I decided, you know what? I'm doing this. I'm going all in. And each and every day is a challenge and something new, but I am having fun and helping people along the way. And being a coach's kid, I've always had myself being part of a team and coaching people myself. So this gives me my coaching fix along with that. So um, just I guess a little funny story that just to let you guys get to know me a little bit is, I get a lot of questions from people about my fitness level and, how many times do you work out a day? Have you always been fit? Things like that. I want to tell you, I have not always been fit. Okay. This has been, a very, very long journey for myself. My college friends know me as Chunk. Okay. That was my nickname in college, was Chunk. Okay. Now, it was more of a skinny fat sort of a thing. I did not eat well. I was that college kid that would purposely schedule their classes later in the day so I could sleep in till noon. And I would be that kid that if somebody calls me up and says, "Hey, you want to go to Amigos and go grab some lunch, supper? Do you want to uh, go to Taco Inn and grab super nachos, whatever it is, I would be down. I was just that guy, and I didn't care about my nutrition. I really didn't know how to properly fuel my body. And at that point in my life, I didn't feel like it really mattered. I was just like, oh, I got basketball practice anyway. I'm going to burn it off. It really doesn't matter. It wasn't my sole focus in that area or in that time of my life. So just kind of funny that, yes, there are some people in my life that have still called me Chunk when I see them. So just kind of give you a little background of myself. And I think that's important for everybody to know, that you don't have to let a certain time in your life define who you are for the rest of your life. You can change, you can always evolve, and you don't have to be that person that you used to be. And that's kind of the cool thing about this, is you can always change your identity. Um, so, uh, being the coach's kid, I guess this is the name of the podcast, The Coach's Kid. I've talked a lot about my dad already. He has been the sole driver in, my decision to be a coach and uh, be some type of an educator, even though I'm not in education right now, currently. Never know what the future may bring. But what I'm still doing is educating. I'm educating others. It's just in a different realm, and I'm still coaching. So I'm still getting my coaching fix, even if it's not with a whistle in my mouth, standing on the sidelines, or uh, on the field, on the court, wherever that may be. So my dad has been, he was at our high school, I believe, for 35 years or so. Dad, you're going to have to correct me on that. Uh, but very successful basketball coach. He actually um, is the coach, or was the coach, to a lot of people that turned out to be educators themselves. And I think that really says a lot to my dad and the influence that he's had on other people. A lot of my college friends, they're like, hey, what's up with those Syracuse guys? Like, there's a lot of them that ended up teachers. And they would say, I bet it's because of your dad and the influence that he had on them. And I totally agree with that. As I get older, I look back and I'm just like, wow, there were a lot of my friends around that 2 to 3 age range of me that ended up being educators. So not only did he have a positive influence on me, but the others around me as well. Me, myself, my coaching background, I started off obviously down in Arizona in my teaching career, and basketball has always been something. I've always been part of a basketball team ever since I was a little kid. And that started in Arizona, coaching boys high school basketball as an assistant coach. And later on down the road, ended up being the head coach at River Valley High School. Coached some really talented players, really awesome kids down there. Actually, I got into volleyball down there for 3 years. A buddy of mine, Brian Crabtree, he was looking for a volleyball coach, and me, just being a good friend, I was just like, yeah, sure, I'll do that for you. And we decided to coach volleyball together. And I think I maybe even did cross country for a year or something like that too at a junior high. But then moving to South Dakota, continued with basketball and was a girls high school basketball coach here, and did some football, where we actually won the football 9D state championship. Very talented players that came through that program as well too. So it kind of gives me my coaching fix. What I'm doing right here is well, what I'm doing on this channel is I'm going to be having this channel and having guests on here. Many times I'll have Mitch Mulcahy, and he is the son of a coach as well too. And he'll be able to give us some good insight on what it's like growing up as a coach's kid. Him and I are going to be your main hosts. So look for Mitch in some future podcasts. But other than that, that is a wrap for today. And that's my background of my health and fitness journey, and also my coaching background and my business's background. So thank you guys for tuning in today. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you next time. All right, guys. Peace.